Hey gang, I'm happy to be with you today. I'm glad you joined me on this live broadcast of, what are we calling this thing? I don't know what we're calling it, but we're going to talk a little bit today about what do you need to do or know to get to your goals. And I'm not going to talk about, what do you need to be good, what's excellence for you? That's really your decision. I'm not going to talk to you about here's where you need to be. I'm more interested in knowing where are you now, where are you going, and how can I help you and my organization or me on these live and all the content that we do to help you get there. So last week we talked a little bit, I'm not sure which shoulder it's over here, and hopefully you can read that today. I know I did one last week and everything was backwards, and I'm just figuring that out. As I said on my gravestone, it will be Bill was pretty good at content, but everything was backwards. So the idea of at the very top there is results, and you want to achieve results. As I just shot a video the other day that I'm going to share with you. It's talks about sales today and what's the future of professional selling, what's the future of achievement. I think there's a lot of upheaval, a lot of chaos. And one of the things I said in it was that we are all naturally expansive creatures. You want more. You want more money, more success, more happiness, more customers, more income, whatever it is. We always want more. Sometimes we become so obsessed about more that we start to get away from our personal values. Our personal values really should guard us or should really guide us. But sometimes we get so obsessed and so greedy that we want more and we're willing to sacrifice that. Other times we're not. And I'd say most people aren't. Most people have a value regimen that they stick with. But we're naturally expansive creatures, and so we've got to understand what is the process between where we are today and where we want to be tomorrow. What is the plan? What is the process? And so that was one of the things that we did. We talked about results and we talked about actions. And we said that if you're going to get different results, you've got to create different actions. You can't do the same thing today that you did 10 years ago or 2 years ago and expect to get the same results. And so actions were a big part of it. But down at the very bottom there, and it's the foundation, and it's almost like we dig to the actions, but that's as far as we go. And the fact is that it's thinking, and it's your belief set, and it's how you feel about who you are. It's the inside stuff. I've got to find a better name for it than inside stuff. But it's everything that happens inside this framework, inside the mind. How do you feel about your role? How do you feel about the potential you have in your business or in your life? How do you feel about your current state of mind, current state of being, current state of wealth, whatever the current state is? And that is the guidepost to everything we do. And yet, why is it that so few trainers and coaches want to go there? Or we want to go there in sort of a very superficial level. Hey, you got to think abundantly. You got to detach from the outcomes. Hey, you got to have some goals, man. You got to have some goals. Okay, all right. Well, that's not enough. In fact, I even feel bad about bringing it up on some of these lives that I do because we don't have time to get into it. And one of the things that I want to invite you to, that we're going to get a lot deeper into, that is a masterclass that we're doing on August 8th. If you're inclined, it's free. It's a gift to you. It's something that we've been working on now for the last couple of years. Going to release it on August 8th. It's called the 2X Path, and it's about how to 2X your business, paying attention to that, not paying attention to more and more and more behavior. So anyway, if somebody would be kind enough to put in the comment, the Caskey class. If not, I'll take care of it after this is over. TheCaskeyClass.com, August 8th, high noon. We're going to talk about some of this stuff. But the point is that if we don't have our mind right about our potential, about even our role in selling, what is our role in selling today? I think it's to guide people. I think it's to transform your customer. Now, some of you are in businesses where, if you're shipping, if you're shipping glasses from a distributor to a retailer, it's probably not. It's the best thing. That's the only thing I had on my table. I could do Starbucks, but they probably do think they're in the business of transforming, and they might be. But the point is that some of you won't be in the business of transforming clients, but many of you will be. And I think if you look at it that way, if you see yourself as the guide to help them get from where they are to where they want to be, and in that transition and on that path is transformation, it raises your game. It raises your income. Selling stuff to people, you just have to keep selling more and more and more. But when you transform people, I think you can charge more. I really do. And we'll get into that in the masterclass. But today, I want to talk a little bit about you, your future, and your skills. And in the class on August 8th, I'm going to talk about the 4 milestones that I think are important of what you need to know. What you need to know. What knowledge, what know-how do you need in order to 2x your business? If you want to make and I don't want to get hung up on, well, is it 2x or is it 3x or is it 10x? Forget about that. Exponential growth is what I'm talking about. X stands for exponential growth. And whether it's 50% more, that could be exponential for you. If you've been cruising along at 150 grand and you want to get to 250, then that could be substantial. So forget about the 2 or the number in front of the X. It's exponential growth for you. And to do that, you got to have know-how. You've got to have know-how. You got to have a plan. You got to have the milestones, which we'll talk about, but you also have to have know-how. So the question always is then, how do you decide what the know-how is? How do you decide, let's see if I have the marker here. How do you decide, here it is, what know-how you need? And so I'm going to draw, hopefully you can see this. You've got the microphone wire tied around your shoulder. You've got here and there. And I like to say you've got 1x and you've got 2x. And 1x is just your current reality. If you're in a job earning $100,000 a year, question is, how do you get that to $200,000? Is it even possible? Or what is that exponential? And the question then is, okay, on this path, you've got know-how and you've got milestones. There's things you need to be good at, and there's things you need to know how to do. So the question for you is, what do you need to know? And this is a question I ask almost all of my clients, actually all of them. And it's hard. This is a hard question. What do you need to be good at to get to 2x your business? And what we typically do is we typically go to what we know. So, okay, for example, I asked a client here about probably a month ago. I just started with them, and I don't ask that on the first session because that's a little bit coming out of nowhere. But after I've been with them for a few weeks, I will go down and say, what's the knowledge you need to have? What skills do you need to have? And it's hard. There were 2 or 3 top level producers, I'd say $300,000 of income and higher, and they struggled with that. Because all we can do is say, well, this is what we do now. I might want to be a little bit better at this, a little bit better at that, but how do I ever decide amongst the whole possibility of skills where I could be? Here's an example. I've got a client who is starting to do more online media. And I encourage every B2B sales professional, get your own channel. I don't care if it's LinkedIn, and don't pay for it. It could be free on Facebook, Instagram, whatever your platform is, your chosen platform. I suppose that most people on this call, it's either Facebook or LinkedIn. But get your own channel and start to produce good content. Start to produce video, relevant video that resonates, that educates, that talks about trends in your business. And this one lady really has taken it upon herself to say, and she even answered the question when I asked her here a couple weeks ago about what skill do you need to be better at. She said video. I need to be better at video, all things video. If I'm going to communicate to this world, and she has a large territory with a lot of population in the territory, so she's not going to be able to get out literally and physically see everybody in that territory every week or every month or every year. She's got to rely on digital technology. She just has to. And she said, I don't want to. I would love to just go see people, but I know that's not practical today. And with digital technology the way it is, one of my skills, one of my many know-how things that I need to know is how to do video better. Not just how to shoot it, how to edit it, how to plan for it, how to create it, how to deliver it. She said, I've got 6 or 7 things underneath the video category that I just need to get better at. And so now what she has done, she's identified what this thing is, because in a way, if she doesn't pick that, it holds her back. It's like the old opportunity cost in what was that, microaccounting? No, was that microeconomics? Oh, it's probably accounting, intro to accounting, let's just say. Opportunity cost. If I'm not going to do this, if I'm not going to get better at video, I pay a price for that. And we all have to, whether we're accountants or not, I suspect most of us are not listening, is we got to get better at understanding the opportunity cost of not doing this exercise. It could be huge. It could be in the millions of dollars, definitely in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe in the tens of millions of dollars. If my client gets good on video, gets good at creating them, distributing them, editing them, repurposing them, that's another part of the whole video equation. If she gets good at that, she could have a following of 10,000 people within a year. So when they introduce a new product then, how effective do you think she'll be if she's already got relationships, digital relationships with those people, versus the other guy or lady who's out there literally knocking on doors? This is me knocking on a door. Knocking on doors, physically, no chance to scale, no ability to reach hundreds of people at one time. We're reaching one person at a time. Who do you think is going to be more successful in that? Now, the person who's not successful will say, wait a minute, they pay me to sell. They don't pay me to shoot video. Oh, really? Is that going to be your answer? They don't pay you to create content so you can talk to thousands of people. They pay you to sell one person at a time. And then at some point, your quota keeps going up and you can't keep up with it because you can only be in one place. In the meantime, she is creating videos and a platform and a media channel where she's reaching hundreds, if not thousands of people. So you've got to decide on this spectrum here, on this path, what is the know-how you need to have? Here's another one that I find people work with. The know-how and the knowledge and the skill, whatever you want to call it, of denominating the problem. I don't know if you can see that. Does that run off the top? No. Denominating the problem. So we've all been trained as sales professionals to go in, and I know not everybody does this, but theoretically the ideal is that we go in and we find the problem. We find the circumstance that the customer has that's caused them to want to reach out to us, or that's caused them to agree to see us, or to take our call, or to open the door when we're out there hammering on it. Hopefully that's not you, but it could be. I've been there. So there's some kind of circumstance that they have, and so we've all been taught to go in and find that circumstance. Now that's not hard sometimes, and yet sometimes it is, especially if I'm gonna move here to another concept, and I'll come back to denomination. Especially if I drew an iceberg there. I know it's a very clean, crisp, sharp iceberg, unlike most icebergs. But the point is that this is the consciousness level here. Can you see that? No, you have to see it. The problem is that a lot of people have pain that is below the consciousness level. They don't even know they have a problem. And the reason they don't think they have a problem is because they don't know if there's a solution to it, so why would I ever worry about it? You know, it's like the iPhone. I never knew I had a problem not having an iPhone until I get an iPhone, or whatever the tech is. And I say, my gosh, this makes my life easier. So once I see how it works and I start to put myself in ownership of it mentally and emotionally, I say, this could change my life. This could be really cool. And you've got to be in a professional sales role. You've got to be at lowering the water line, lowering the consciousness line, so that you're talking to them about their issues that they might not even know they had. So that's the optimum kind of pain, is the pain they don't know they have, or the problem, or the goals. Sometimes you go into a client, I know you have because I've heard from you, is the prospect wants to get here, and you say to them, well, wait a minute, why are you only wanting to get there? Why aren't you wanting to get here? And if you can be that person, you talk about transformation. When you can go in and say, I can not only help you get here, but I can help you get further. I have a vision. I'm casting a vision that's even bigger and better. That's transformative. So that's a skill that you might want to consider getting better at. And again, we're going to talk about all this stuff, not all of it, but most of it on August the 8th. masterclass, the Caskey class. It's on how to 2x your business. I only have 100 seats, digital seats, because of the plan that I signed up with Zoom. So make sure you get in. I've been promoting it only for the last few days. So go to thecaskeyclass.com, get on the roll. So one of the things you might want to be good at here is denomination. And that's at some point. I've said this, you've heard me say it. I said it ad nauseum, but I'm not nauseous about it because I know that people don't do it. So it's easy to sit here and talk about. It's hard to do. And that is denominating the pain, denominating the problem that the customer has. Because at some point, hear me out here, at some point, the customer will be forced or want to dig into their checkbook, their wallet, dig into their money, and they'll want to give it to you. And you'll want them to give it to you. And when they're handing it over, they're asking themselves the question, what am I getting for this? I don't mean physically handing it over, but mentally and emotionally. When they get ready to buy something, they say, okay, this is kind of my last filter. What am I getting for this? Oh, I'm getting a Lexus 400 with, oh yeah, well man, it's worth $900 a month to get that, to be driving around in that thing. You know, that's how people buy cars. And they say, okay, what am I getting for my $900 a month? That, oh, perfect. But if you sell an intangible, or if you sell hope that they can come in, or that you can come into their business and fix something, or create something, or build something, construct something, that in the moment is just a hope and a dream, you've got to be good at denominating the pain. What are they moving away from? See, in sales and decision making, again, can you see this? Yeah. People are always moving away from something or toward something. This is plus for toward, minus for this. They're always moving toward or away from something. This is the buyer path. It's the buyer journey, the buyer path, whatever you want to call it. To the extent you can help them move away from this and toward this altogether at one time, or with you in their life, they will speed their direction. They will speed up toward you. If they believe that you can help them get away from pain, avoid problems, avoid future problems, and help them achieve their goals, you're not going to believe the speed with which they will buy. But to do that, you've got to be good at denominating what is the financial area of problem that they have and what is the financial area of opportunity. In fact, if you want to look at this, I've never done this before. This is why we do these, so I'm just kind of making this stuff up as I go. But there is a financial cost to pain, and there's a financial reward for goals, for aspiration, for vision. And if you can help them see what this is and what this is, and you've got to be schooled. You can't just say, well, what's that cost you to have? That's the old question that we use. The problem is that people, I think I just dropped the mic. Not in a successful, hopefully you can still hear me. Anyway, if you can't from the mic, then you can from this. Not a mic drop in the modern sense, but there's a financial area to both. And if you can understand that, that might be a skill of the future. Actually, I think it is. I think in a disruptive, chaotic market, your ability, think about this now, your ability as a sales professional to help them understand from a grounded standpoint, understand all the money around it, not just the cost of your product or the price. There's much more to it than that. But if you can help them understand that, that's going to speed the process of them buying from you and of you being able to help them. So I wanted to leave you with that today. And again, we're going to be talking about this on August 8th. If you have time on August 8th at noon, sign up. It's the Caskey class. It's free. It's going to be an hour packed full of not just this, but how do I 2X my business? I've come up with a formula and some milestones, and these are the 4 here I'm going to share with you on that Thursday, August 8th, noon, the Caskey class. If you have any questions or want to put a comment in the comment field, make sure you do so. I'll answer them. It probably won't be until this evening, but I want to get with you, and if there's anything here that either you couldn't see, couldn't hear, hopefully the mic's still working, I would love to connect with you online. So I will talk to you soon. See you next time. Bye.